Ulster showed plenty of spirit in defeat in the end to La Rochelle at the Aviva Stadium, which is something we didn't think we'd be saying last week, at least in terms of the venue. Let's chat about that to begin with. What did you make of that situation overall? And would you understand, say, the frustration of Johnny Petrie, who took his frustrations to Twitter? Like, it feels messy. I don't know to what extent it was avoidable, really. I didn't see the pitch myself, I guess.
Yeah. Look, I think the problem was that it probably could have been played on Saturday, from what I understand, in Ravenhill. There was a thaw Friday night. I think there was even a bit of rain Friday night. So my understanding of it is, from speaking to someone who was up there, was that the pitch was in far better condition Saturday afternoon than it was Friday afternoon. I think it was rather than just blame the EPCR, I think Ulster need to look at why they couldn't have that pitch ready in a better position on a Friday afternoon, so that URC, EPCR, or BT and La Rochelle, could have been completely confident the game was going to go ahead in Belfast, and that's the thing. I think, look at, I know this. So Grenoble is in the Alps, right? So we regularly had temperatures of -8. We had massive snowfalls. But we had to be able to play. You can't just say, "Oh, we're in the Alps. We're going to miss 4 or 5 home games, and they'll be rescheduled for later in the year." Like, they have to be played, and there's a massive fine if you don't play them, and there's obviously a loss of income as well, between corporate hospitality, food, beverages, all that stuff that's pre-cooked and prepared. So what do? We got a cover for the pitch that basically, it was like a dome, and so it's not like the covers we've seen that I saw in Ravenhill, which is just a cover flat on the ground. This basically, you pump hot air in from 4 different angles, and it blows up, and the conditions of the pitch is unfrozen underneath it, right? So that's the question mark for me, for Ulster, is, do they have the equipment to keep the pitch and the soil soft enough, no matter what the temperature is? Outside, obviously, not if it becomes really, really like cold, I can understand. But okay, it was a cold snap, but yeah, that's what I wonder. I mean, sometimes the cover just isn't enough. Sometimes the cover is just not enough. So if they haven't got that equipment, can they make sure they have it next time? Because it certainly was an advantage to La Rochelle to not play the game in Ravenhill in front of a packed Ravenhill. And the way Ulster started the game, you can't help ask the question: were they mentally put out by the players by this loss of a home venue? Even the 160 La Rochelle official delegates who were there. I mean, that would have been annoying them as well. These things. A small stadium, you can see these people who you're going, why are they here? You know what I mean? Why have they got fans here and we don't? Whatever. But look,
they were loud as well, Bert. By the way,
huh?
They were loud.
They were loud. Yeah, no, they were loud. They were loud, and of course they were. And in some ways, I understand, because they've paid their money. It's more expensive for them to come here.
Yeah.
They weren't doing any danger. There wasn't a health and safety point of view, and that's the difference between making it open and selling tickets. You do need a lot of stewards there, but to let 160 traveling French fans in, it's not dangerous. So I know there's uproar about it, and I understand Ulster fans are unhappy, but I kind of don't have a big issue with them being allowed in, to be honest. But okay, the whole thing is, there's such an anger towards the EPCR from Ulster fans, and I understand they're not happy. But I think they had to make a call. They had to make a call, obviously 24 hours, and they don't make the call if the pitch is actually okay. On the Friday night, they give it to Conference to go ahead. But obviously there was doubts around the state of the pitch, and they made a call to move it, and Ulster are bound to be unhappy. But I would ask the question, did they do enough, or have they? What are they going to do now to make sure this doesn't happen again? Actually, ironically, the Leinster game was in doubt Friday afternoon, despite there being no worries about it all week, and everybody being very confident. there's a bit of a panic in the RDS because the pitch wasn't as good a condition as they thought when they took up the covers, and they brought in these 3 lights. I don't know if you saw them, but I think they must have got them from the Aviva, and they were moving them around frantically around the pitch, trying to keep it safe. Now, the game when I got there 2.5 hours beforehand, that panic had eased. I think that's probably, there's underground heating in the Aviva, so probably that may have come into the thought process of why not the RDS, because at the time Friday night, it'd been a bit of a push to get that game on. The forecast was for another bad night, and maybe the RDS didn't have the staff ready to be able to do it to the same extent that they did for the Leinster game, because obviously people would have had scheduled time off, etc. So the Aviva was probably a safer bet in terms of making sure the game went ahead. But yeah, and then obviously the result, Ulster obviously getting 2 points, keeps their hopes alive, and it gives them something to build on, because wow, if they had to continue that second half like the first half was, that would have been the Sale game and the last 50 against Leinster, where they didn't really fire a shot. So big moments for Ulster there, and I think La Rochelle, to be fair, eased off and took off some other key players, etc. But we have to take it into account. But in fairness to Ulster, they showed a bit of fight.